afternoon and welcome to the Rwpcs News, the right news,
the right way.
I'm Shawnquelle Dennis.
And I'm Janiyah Pearson, sitting in for Shaka Williams. And here we are once again with a brand new episode.
That's right, folks, we're back, so let's get started.
If you can recall, a couple of episodes back, we featured a story on Save Our Sons. The same organization, in addition, has created Save Our Daughters. The relationships between fathers and daughters are often forgotten. The nation realized that the same social ills that impact our sons affect our daughters in similar but distinctive ways. In addition, the issues of our daughters are painfully overlooked. Rwpcs independent filmmaker Janks Morton has created a documentary entitled Dear Daddy, which is a documentary based on the lifelong effects on fatherless young women. Let's take a second to look at this truly powerful film.
My name is Jasmine. I'm 18 years old and I grew up without my father. Dear RM, I hate the simple fact that you left my mom when I was little and she struggled from then on trying to feed me and put clothes on my back and been able to figure out how I'm gonna go to school. I hate the simple fact the only time you come around is when you need something and you don't even call to give me a hug or come around to even see me or to come pick me up. I hate the simple fact that you left me and I had no one to talk to when I couldn't go to my mother. I hate the simple fact that you wasn't there when I had my first heartbreak and it hurts me when I don't have a father to go to when I have a problem. It even hurts me that my mother have to play both parts, my mother and my father. I count on her more than I can count on you. I hate the simple fact you took the easy way out. You don't even stop by to just ask her if she needed help or to give her money for me or to even check to see if I'm still alive.
Joining us today is independent filmmaker Janks Morton.
Let's get right into it, sir. Why do you think it's important for young girls to have their fathers?
I think it's probably the most important thing for young women to grow up with their fathers. I think their mothers and fathers first. That's the most important thing. But right now in America, 72% of children are born out of wedlock. 82% are guaranteed to grow up in a house without their father. So there's just certain things that daddy does. So if I come home after a hard day, where hey. See? Daddy makes the dog walk a little bit straighter. Daddy makes the children a little more confident in a different way. Daddy validates you. Only a young girl knows that a man's touch, when it can be as an approach or as a comforting touch. Like right now, you know that I'm daddy right now. There's no sexual thing or going on. And then you know this dude. So if you don't have those barometers, it may lead to making some bad mistakes, and that's what Dear Daddy is about, like the life choices that you will make if your father's not present. So I think, again, it's important to have both, but because of father absence where we are today, it's uber critical because I see a lot of pain in young girls everywhere.
How can your film Dear Daddy help fathers and daughters come together more often?
I think what Dear Daddy did best was to open a door. So this question is driving me crazy, and you don't have to answer it if you're not comfortable, but a number says one or both of you are growing up without your father right now. Nobody wants to answer.
Oh, no. I thought you was going to answer it.
No.
It depends what you mean by with your father, like in that household.
Let me give you power. You want power, okay? Because the little girl in you won't answer this question truthfully because there's a hope and a desire to say that I don't want to do anything to possibly jeopardize a future relationship with him. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If you do not live in the house with him from the time you were born to the time you were 18 years old, every day, not unless he went away to war, you have power to say, I grew up without my father in the home.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So that's not saying you're less than, and that's not putting it off to him, but if you don't embrace what is it about who you are, then you're in denial, then you begin to deflect, then you get distracted, and you see the girls in the movie that do all these little girl things to try to reconcile adult mistakes. And that's not for you to process. That's what adults are supposed to. But you take that, and then you can come back and say, well, my daddy don't live with me because he cheated on my mama. What? You shouldn't even know that. You understand? So we're dealing with opening up pathways for healing first, and then recognition, reconciliation after that. So most men, I do not believe, know how much women hurt. Young ones, old ones, whatever. Women are in so much pain over this issue, and I don't think men are cognitive of it.
Thank you for joining us today.
Well, I'm happy to be here. So
Here's 3 facts about our daughters.
Don't forget on May 8th to participate in Save Our Daughters Nights, which is next Friday. For more information, go to saveourdaughtersnight.com.
Do you know what happens in room 108?
Between the hours of 2:15 and 4:15, Monday through Thursday,
And Fridays from 11 a.m. to 12 noon?
Have you ever wondered who makes those cool denim jackets with the artwork on the first floor? Well, want to know more? It's Mr. Carr's visual arts class. This is the first time that there's been a full-time visual arts program at Rwpcs versus the 1 hour, 1/4 class from Roxy last year. It all started when Dr. Clark saw potential in a kid's artwork that was displayed in the hallway. These potential artists helped him decide to create a real class. It's 2 classes for the 10th, 8th graders who learn about art through history. Next, they created their own art in that style. So far, the students have used canvases, pencil drawings, and still life as their mediums.
Mr. Carr teaches us different things. He also lets us express ourselves in many different ways, but he also gives us a specific technique to follow.
Art is a therapeutic way to express themselves, says Mr. Carr. In the near future, the students will be moving into art sculptures. The visual arts program allows them to start building their portfolio in the 8th grade, so that by the time they get to the 12th, they'll have a nice collection of work to display. In the future, Mr. Carr wants the kids to start doing animations, maybe even for the newscast. This will take a little bit more funding, but we are optimistic. This is Joshua Mitchell for RWPCS News.
NBC 10 journalist Berkeley Breen from Rochester, New York, visited Wright to interview parents, students, and CEO and head of the school, Dr. Marco Clark, for a piece on public charter schools to air in mid-May. RWPCS owned Shaka Williams asked the journalist why did he decide to do a story around public charter schools, and this is what he had to say.
Well, we're from the city of Rochester in New York, which is in western New York, and we have a education crisis in Rochester. Bad graduation rates, bad test scores, worse attendance, and just complete lack of any sort of hope for the children that are in these schools, for a lot of them anyway. And what a lot of parents don't have is they just don't have any options. So if they don't have the money to move out to the suburbs, where the schools are great, if they don't have the money to go to private school, they're sort of stuck in the district school, the school that's in their neighborhood. And that doesn't give them many options at all. So we decided that we wanted to come to DC and see how the system is run here and what kind of options parents have, what kind of choices they have, and what difference does it make? Does it give them, their children better options, better future, a little bit more hope? And so we're going to show the people who watch us in Rochester that this is what's going on in DC, and this is what could happen here if people want this to happen.
Students, have you ever actually wondered what staff member Ms. Starling actually does?
Besides yelling at us and telling us to get out of the hallway? Have you ever walked past Miss Starling's office or walked past her in the hall and just wondered to yourself, what exactly does she do? Well, just know that she's done and continues to do a lot for RWPCS. Miss Starling is the Director of Curriculum and Instruction. What is that exactly? Well, she's responsible for what the students learn, what order they'll learn it in, and the overall curriculum. Miss Starling is the one who decides which courses the students should take and what levels they would take those classes on. She basically develops the scheme for your high school career.
The journalism and media arts curriculum came together with Ms. Starling and I actually through the vision of Dr. Clark. He really is the visionary who, had the foresight of really having kids be their own contributors their own voices for their own communities, giving them a chance to innovatively talk about and express their own ideas about their communities, their culture, and everything going around them and what's important to them and the issues surrounding their lives. And so the umbrella of that is, to really promote literacy, to promote research, writing, and reading comprehension. So that whole vision came under Dr. Marco Clark, our CEO and founder.
She builds the professional development around the curriculum. She has been the one to align the curriculum with Rwpcs since day one.
Ms. Starling's role in bringing the AP classes was first approaching me with it, let me know about what the course would be about, if I was interested in it, and then where we go from there. And once we decided to go for it and to do the class, then she helped set up the curriculum and the contact, setting up with College Board, but also setting up with the Institute in William & Mary to get trained and to prepare for the class. And then she got the ball rolling and was very helpful and extremely helpful.
Even though she personally develops the curriculum, it is aligned with DC's curriculum. Ms. Starling is also one of the co-founders of Rwpcs. Ms. Starling and Dr. Clark had been colleagues for years, and he had an idea about establishing a charter school in the D.C. area. So, the two partnered together and decided to open up Rwpcs. This year is especially important to her because it's Rwpcs' first graduating class. I'm nervous, excited, and overwhelmed because it's a good thing. It's always a good thing that you could be a positive influence to someone, says Ms. Starling.
How many times have I told you to stay out this hallway and stay in class, okay? Where's your class? Get in there.
I'm Shawnquil Dennis for Rwpcs News.
Ms. Young Folk is very busy fixing up a few bulletin boards around school, while Mr. Fagan is on break and our underclassmen are getting ready for the second round of the PART test. Me and Shawnquil have the honor of doing your vocabulary words for the rest of April and the reading initiative for the month. Our vocabulary words are significance, rhetoric, modicum, and malign. Significance was our vocabulary word for the first week of April. Now we're in the last week of April, and our final words are rhetoric, modicum, and malign. The reading strategy for the month of April is prediction. Good readers try to think ahead of the author. They take information from the text and try to figure out where the author is leading before actually reading it. Well, I think that's all we have for now. Miss Youngfolk and Mr. Fagan will be back in a few weeks. So until then, we would like for you to read it, enjoy it, and do it! Welcome to another edition of the Spartan Sports Zone, where we give you the latest news in Spartan sports. In softball last Friday, girls won 12-10 against Capital City. I would like to give a big shout out to Janae Hammonds for doing a tremendous job on the diamond. On Monday, the girls beat Seed 11-3, big ups to Marquita Crump. She did a tremendous job that day. Currently, the girls have a record of 4-0 undefeated. Oh. And in baseball, the boys lost their season opener against Paul Public Charter School. The score was 15-1. However, Lionel Johnson Jr. did his first hit of the season in that game. And on Wednesday, the boys won against Options PCS. The score was 17-10. Congrats to James Gooseby on getting those bases. Joining us today is head softball coach, Mr. Young. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Young.
Thank you. Well, pleasure to be here today.
How much pressure has been put on you when it comes to being a coach and making it into the playoffs?
Well, I put more pressure on myself than anyone else put on me. When we started the program 3 years ago, our goal was just to have fun and teach the game. So with that attitude continuing each year and growing each year, it's not about pressure from the outside, it's pressure from the inside. You always want to see yourself getting better. So the pressure comes from within, not from outside.
Okay, so how do you feel about making it to the playoffs and possibly going to the championship? Is this surreal? Are you confident? Do you have any fears? Let us know.
I don't operate in fear. So I am confident that my team has worked diligently enough on the game and learned the game well enough to compete with anybody. So our season this year has been successful because we put in the work to be successful.
Well, you've heard it here first at the Spartan Sports Zone.
I was designed to save the world. People will look to the sky and see hope. I'll take that from them first. There's only one path to peace. Their extinction.
Tried to create a suit of armor around the world. But I created something terrible. Artificial intelligence. It's called the Ultron program. I'm sick of watching people pay for our mistakes. Isn't why we fight so we can end the fight and go home?
Well, you amazingly failed.
Here we all are, with nothing but our wit and our will to save the world. So stand and fight.
No way we all get through this. I got no plans tomorrow night.
I'm always picking up after you boys.
We can tear them apart. From the inside.
That's the best you can do! You had to ask.
Avengers: Age of Ultron is this year's most anticipated film. So go out and support today if you like comic book superheroes. That's all we have for today. Join us in another edition of The Right News.
The Right Way. I'm Shawnquilla Dennis.
And I'm Janiyah Pearson, sitting in for Shaka Williams. Have a great weekend.
And see you next week.